All right, we're going to get started. Thank you for joining us for this week's weekly Wednesday presentation about nursing home placement. This presentation is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Otsego County Office for the Aging Facebook page and to our county's website. I ask that everyone except the presenter and myself keep your videos turned off and that you remain muted unless you have questions. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions as we move through this presentation, or you can use the chat feature if you prefer, and I will ask those questions for you. For those who are new to weekly Wednesday presentations, we host presentations every Wednesday using the same link at 11 a.m. Topics are on various community-based organizations and services they provide. This was established in October of 2020 as a way to continue education on services and supports amid a global pandemic. For those who do not know me, my name is Alicia Chase. I'm Otsego County's long-term care coordinator. My role here at Office for the Aging is to supervise the New York Connects program. New York Connects is the connection for all long-term services and supports. Although my office is under Office for the Aging, we are unique that we are able to help anyone of any age who is looking to navigate this complicated long-term care system. We can assist those who just want information and assistance, need referrals to other community-based organizations such as the Department of Social Services, Mental Health, SPOA, which is the single point of access under mental health, Catskill Center for Independence, Family Resource Network, interagency referrals to Office for the Aging, Social Security, and many more. Anyone who needs help with applications, we can also assist them, and we can help seek information on admissions to adult homes or nursing homes. If you are unsure if New York Connects can help you or your loved one, please do not hesitate to reach out. We also have a New York Connects partner, Vince Baker, with the Independent Living Center in Oneonta. Those wishing to reach out to me can do so by calling Office for the Aging at 547-4232. My contact is also in the chat, as will be the presenters from today. At this time, I'm going to turn the program over to Natalie Hooper with Chestnut Park in Oneonta for today's presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alicia, for having me. And this is really just a really great opportunity to not only connect with the community, but also to provide some insight into the admission process, which can be a little confusing. And, you know, for a lot of families, it's the first time that you're going through this process. So I'm more than happy to be here. And I did put my information into the chat. So if afterwards or during you guys have any questions that might come up, feel free to contact me via my cell phone or my email. Happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. So as Alicia mentioned, I am the hospital liaison and also the marketer for Chestnut Park Rehabilitation and Nursing Center, right on the west side of Oneonta. I've been in this position for about a year and a half or so, and started off before the pandemic hit and had that experience with going into the hospitals, being able to meet, families and patients in person. But for the last over a year, been based in the facilities / at home, been in touch mainly virtually, via Zoom or via, cell phones. So we're slowly getting back there. So I'll kind of go into a little bit of what I do on my side for the admission side of things, and we'll go from there. So one thing that we've been able to do normally before the pandemic hit, the majority of our referrals came directly from the hospitals. We didn't do much admissions from the home, but that actually changed because there was a lot of people that were finding themselves with family members or themselves that needed more care than they had at home, and but didn't necessarily need to go into the hospital and didn't necessarily want to go into the hospital to potentially expose themselves if they didn't need to. So what we've been able to do is take referrals directly from home. And we're still able to do that at the moment. So basically, when that happens, you would give our admissions director a call or myself. Basically call the facility, say that either yourself or your loved one is looking for some long-term care or even some short-term rehab if they need that as well, because we do both of those. And we would take it from there. We would kind of guide you through the process. First would come the application where you put in your information. We would then make sure that we are the right fit for you and your family as far as insurance goes, as far as what your needs are and what our abilities are for care. We have a fantastic physical therapy team, so that would be something, but we make sure that we're the right spot for you and for your family as well too. So we would go through that. After that is done, if we determine that, yes, we're definitely a good fit, and we want to move forward, what you would do from there is go to visit your doctor. Your primary care physician would be able to help you get what's called a PRI and a screen, and help you provide us with a negative COVID test at the moment. We would need that. So, and then we would also just need a visit summary from your last doctor's appointment. And that's pretty much it. But we're there for you the entire way to answer any questions that you might have. So that's the home side of things. The majority of people that do come our way come from the hospital. So that process is a little bit different. So I'll kind of go into that a little bit here. Once your loved one goes into the hospital, there's many different reasons why you would need to come our way. The first one, like I said earlier, is short-term rehab. So if, let's say, you have a hip replacement or a knee replacement, something where you're going to need a little bit more, build up your strength a little bit more, you would come to us for physical therapy until it's safe for you to go home. So we look at all those things that go into, how are we going to quickly and safely get you home as quickly as we can. The next one is the long-term care. So if someone ends up in the hospital, their, daughter is taking care of their mother or father, they're having constant falls, things like that, where it just seems, it's not the safest place for them. And that's determined at the hospital. We would then be contacted by what's called your case manager. So anyone that goes into the hospital, you'll get connected with a case management team and a specific case manager. They would then present you with your options and say, here are a few different places you'd like to go, and you and your family get to decide, take some time, talk with the doctors, and decide which place would be the best for you. It's great to have those options. I know I'm coming from the Chestnut Park side, but there's places that might just be closer to where your family is. And so, I think everyone is understanding of that too. So basically what you would do as a family member or as a patient is say, I would like, my referral to be sent to A, B, and C places. And that's where basically I come in. We receive your referral. My director of admissions, her name is Cassandra Doty. She goes through everything to, like I said before, make sure that, first of all, we would be the right fit for you. Make sure that we take your insurance, make sure, she would be able to discuss, what would be covered under the insurance, and, kind of go from there. On my side, the hospital liaison side, I'm kind of the connection between the patient, the families, and our facility as well. So I would more likely than not, what my process is I would contact either the patient or the family or both, introduce myself, talk a little bit about the facility just to let them know, what we have to offer, and let them make their decision from there. So then from that point of it, the family would then make their decision where they want to go. Let's say they choose Chestnut Park, and that's great. We would then, the case managers and myself would determine, be in touch basically until that patient is ready to be discharged from the hospital. When they are, we provide transportation to our facility. I don't know if that's always the case with other facilities, but coming from us, that's something that we're able to do. Or the family, if it's medically possible and the family wants to transport them to us, then they can do that as well. So basically, we'll be in touch from the time of the referral being sent to us until the patient comes in our doors. And then for my personal point of view, I like to be in touch with the family members and the patients, of course, with any questions or anything that pop up after, their admission from here. So that's why I provide my cell phone. So I know sometimes it's easier, more beneficial if it's after business hours on the weekend.
Right.
Free to contact me at any point. So that's pretty much where my role comes into the admission process.
So just for those on the line, a PRI and a screen is done by a registered nurse. In the hospital, the nurses do the PRI part, and a social worker does the screen. Currently in Otsego County, there's only 2 places that do it. One is At Home Care Partners, but only for their current clients. So if you're not a current client of theirs, they do not do it. The other is with Elder Care Placement Consultants, which is a retired nurse by the name of Rick Post. He will do them, but he doesn't accept insurance. So it is an out-of-pocket charge to the family or the client themselves. So that's all the places that you can get a PRI and a screen done currently, unless you're admitted to the hospital, of which your case management team would do it. And then there's the payer source. So for any type of placement, the payer is either out of pocket, which most of our Otsego County residents can't afford. Aside from that, it is Medicaid or long-term care services, and that's where New York Connects comes into play, because we can help people apply for that Medicaid and help the family through that process. Does anybody on the line have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask, or you can type them into the chat. It's quiet. Oh, if someone is requesting a referral from home, how long does the process typically take?
It depends. At least I don't know if you wanted me to answer that one, but, but yeah, that process can definitely depend. It depends on what the insurance is. But like I said, basically what we would do is we would first start with the application, get that through, and then we're there every step of the way. So, for instance, we just had someone that came from home, but they needed to apply for Medicaid first before they were able to come in because they didn't have any
Do
insurance.
you guys take someone Medicaid pending, or do they have to have it in place?
We do. Yeah, we do take Medicaid pending. And as long as the application, as of now, as long as the application is submitted, we're able to take that person in as long as everything else, looks like it's checking out. So we don't have to wait, for that to come through, which can expedite the process a little bit.
Yeah, that's important for
which
people
can
to
be
know.
helpful.
Some facilities do not take Medicaid pending. So you want to make sure that the facility that you're looking at does accept Medicaid pending, which means a completed application and all documentations has been turned in.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that can definitely expedite the process. And if you have an insurance that we accept, it's all ready to go. We have had people that have come in a matter of, probably a couple weeks, I would say, is a safe bet to get all the paperwork done, the PRI to screen, and we just need a negative COVID test within 72 hours of you coming in. So, but once that's all in, then open door.
And by insurance, do you bring people in sometimes under rehab first and then transition them to long-term care?
Yes. Yep. That's happened often. Sometimes that happens where they say, hey, let's try some short-term rehab, see what we can do, see if, mom or dad or whoever can get a little bit better, and then we can take her home. And sometimes it just doesn't pan out that way. So that's where I think we have the benefit of, we're an 80-bed facility, by the way. So it's kind of smaller on the bigger spectrum of things, but it's generally 40 beds short-term rehab, 40 beds long-term care. We like to keep them separated because usually, that can be a little bit of a different demographic on each side, different needs. But, we can easily transition them just from one wing to the other. And, that way you don't have to worry about finding a new spot and going through the whole process again.
Right. Does anyone have any other questions? What does visitation currently look like due to COVID?
So it differs. It differs from now that we've gotten the okay to open up by the state, which is very exciting for us because we've been just dying to get our families in there to visit. So some places have a plan in place already. They're open to visitation indoors. Chestnut Park is getting there. I think we're just waiting on we want to make it as safe as possible. So what it's been like, though, the way that we kind of went around it when we were shut down, we were able to have the benefit of being all on one level. So we were able to provide window visits. We were able to provide virtual visits. So that's all still the same. We even did things, not just family members, but we had like the SPCA come with dogs and, we did like window visits that way. So we've been finding ways to compensate to, make sure that people are still connected with the outside. And we even had like some clowns come by, and we make sure the residents know, and they, say, okay, I want to visit from a clown. But
Yeah.
so, but as things open up and as the weather gets a little bit nicer, what we will hopefully be able to have hopefully in the next couple weeks, knock on wood, we'll have some outdoor visitation area. We'll be able to have families come in and visit their loved ones. One thing we have been doing, and safely, we found a good safe way to do it is, unfortunately, if it did get to an end of life situation, and this is still current at the moment, of course, we want to be able to provide the families with the ability to see their loved ones at that time. So we've been able to make, special accommodations for those family members. Of course, provide negative COVID tests. We can take a rapid, we get them all gowned up, all that good stuff to make sure it's safe for everybody and themselves. But yeah, we've been able to do that. So we're hoping in the next week or so that we'll be able to provide that visitation inside and in person.
Any other questions? Doesn't look like there's any other questions.
All right. Well, like I said, my information is on that chat. Feel free to email me, give me a call anytime if anything comes up. Feel free to pass along that information too. My cell phone number, my email, if there's any family members, any friends, anyone you can think of that might have any questions or need our help potentially, and we'll be happy to chat with them.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.